Well, it is certainly a lot to do with politics. I don't know how Shahid Siddiqui was separating this from politics, frankly. I mean, you are a politician, you have been a politician. Khushbu, the comments that Khushbu put out, which was targeted for, had also got to do with politics. MF Hussain, the whole issue had to do with certain kind of politics. Salman Rushdie has to do with politics. I don't know why you're trying to pretend that it's got nothing to do with politics, Shahid Siddiqui, because I'm not understanding the logic behind your argument out there.
It is to do with politics.
It's obviously got to do with politics. There's a UP election happening. That's why the Rajasthan government will be afraid to take on the groups that are trying to block Rushdie from speaking.
Is this a question for me?
Yes, sir, the question is to you.
I think
the question is to you, Shahid Siddiqui.
Arnab.
I'm coming to Siddharth.
If others are speaking, how can I speak?
No, you continue, then I'll come to Siddharth and I'll come to Namita right after that. Yes, sir. Please tell me how this has not got to do with politics.
Everything has to do with politics. But if you want to say that there won't have been protests against Rushdie if there were no elections, is incorrect. Because in the past also there were demonstrations when he came here. There were protests, but they were, as I said earlier, there was no hype about it. Now the elections are there, so everybody is looking at the consequences of his coming or not coming on the elections.
No, sir,
so
that's
that
wrong.
happens with every issue during the elections.
The issue is getting political backing now.
But you see,
the issue is getting political backing
now.
What I
want to say is that under the Constitution, if you allow this kind of abuse, then I can abuse after Mr. Secy as much as I want, and he can abuse me, and we can have jungle Raj, and the India can be turned into a jungle, and we can have a very green country. The environmental problem will be solved. But India is a democracy. In a democracy, you cannot have. Talk about democracy.
Let's be very clear about
to abuse.
I think
if you're talking about unrestricted right to it, then you don't understand what democracy is all about.
Siddharth is getting extremely restless at your argument. Siddharth Shanghvi has not spoken. I'm coming to him. He looks extremely restless at your argument. Sir, before I go to Siddharth, I'd like to tell you once again, 2000 Commonwealth Writers' Prize Salman Rushdie came. Jaipur Literary Festival 2007 Salman Rushdie came. Now the difference is there's a UP election and it's getting political backing. Let's be clear about it. It's getting political backing from the politicians. Please don't blame the media. Siddharth, it's over to you.
Arnab, I just think we need to narrow the debate down, take it away from politics and ask a question that I think most Indians are asking right now as they're seeing the distinguished guests who have been speaking so far. And I think perhaps the bubble over their heads is, who are these idiots and what are they doing on national television? I'm very sorry to be absolutely point blank and perhaps bordering on rude, but since we've been making a case about freedom of expression, we need to bypass the sort of, politeness and sort of say, are you out of your head? Do you not have a day job that you're actually talking about an issue which has been done to death? Satanic Verses was published 20 years ago. Have you not got anything else to talk about the Muslim community? Please, get over it. But what I'm saying is, if you are so keen on protecting the sentiments of Muslims, why don't all of you all relocate to Gujarat and take on the Narendra Modi government? Let's see how you all respond to that. Let's see how you all can protect Muslims over there. Because you need to take on somebody of size, girth, density, not an issue that's been done to that 20 years ago. And certainly not on my time. This is the hour I drink. If you're going to talk such rubbish on national television, you're not going to do it on my time. I hope I'm making that absolutely clear.
You're using wonderful language on the national television. Extremely parliamentary language you are using for everyone
else. Would know.
Who doesn't agree with you is an idiot, is an nincompoop. He's rubbish. Anybody who doesn't agree with you is rubbish and nincompoop. That is wonderful freedom of expression you give to everyone else except you.
Gentlemen,
I salute you for this.
Gentlemen,
intellectual.
You should.
Arrogance.
Gentlemen, the question also is tonight is this. The question tonight is this, and the bigger question is, Namita, there are a lot of people who will tweet, who will say things about it, but they won't come out. They will get very quickly intimidated. In fact, today I spoke to one of the organizers of the Jaipur Literary Festival, and I'm told there are about 40 to 50,000 people out there. And I did ask the person that if 500 people were to come out and say, come out in a procession and take you on, will 40,000 people come out, or 50,000 people who are attending the festival come out and take these people on and say that we will take you on if you take us on? Then the answer I simply got was, no, this is too dangerous to do. We don't want to take them on in the way that they take us on, and therefore we'd rather, we'd rather, if required, have Salman Rushdie not come to this event. Namita.
You are talking the language of violence.
1 minute. I never said violence. I said 1 minute. Shahid Siddiqui.
What is taking on?
Shahid Siddiqui. I said taking on can be verbal.
Make a peaceful protest. What's wrong with that?
Yes,
why
exactly.
should anybody take them on? In a democracy, they have a right.
I said take on. Why do you assume? Why do you assume taking on can't be verbal?
Take them on.
Why do you assume that taking on cannot be verbal?
Another protest in favor of Salman Rushdie. Why not?
Shahid Siddiqui, why do you?
We have every right to protest.
Why do you assume that taking on cannot be intellectual or verbal or non-violent? In fact, that's precisely the question. Namita.
On every channel that is being done, but we are asking 40,000 people to, they won't take them intellectually, 40,000 people coming out and taking people 500.
My first question to you was, do you worry about being outnumbered? My first question to you was, do you worry about being outnumbered? Then you said I was giving a speech and not asking a question. Namita, let me go across to you.
You are doing the same thing which the ulamas are doing.
1 second. Let me ask Namita.
Inciting people to violence.
Well, there's other point of view as well, Shahid Siddiqui, and let's hear the other point of view. Let me get Namita in, please.
Yes,
Namita.
Please.
You know, to me, this is really not a debate about a lit fest or a political group or an author. It's a debate about repression and the value of dissent. And I think it comes down to a very personal level, because if we allow these kinds of things to happen, whether at a lit fest or in any other context, it's going to be the way we run our families, our classrooms, our lives, and it's a really frightening prospect. So the manner in which we take it on is not so important as understanding the deeper sort of repercussions of this. It's like censorship of any kind of the written word can eventually lead to censorship of thought. And can you imagine what kind of society that will lead to? So I really think that we need to look at this in a more philosophical way and understand that the reason India has become... Sorry?
No, my point is it's good to say that, Namita, but at the end of the day, the politicians will say that, if we take on the hardliners, we'll lose votes. But the 40,000, 50,000 people attending the Jaipur Literary Festival are not our vote bank.
But they don't matter.
They don't matter politically.
They don't matter.
Sure.
So, isn't that a fact? Isn't that a reality, Suhel?
I think
absolutely. And let me take on both these gentlemen, Shahid and the other gentlemen whose name I couldn't get.
Mr. Azam, yes.
Let me tell you, I completely agree that people have no right to abuse. But surely individual groups threatening people, either with violence or otherwise, or holding governments to ransom,
I agree with you.
That is neither the correct way of expressing disagreement. The problem, Arnab, is that in this country, disagreement has become equivalent to hatred. If I disagree with you, it's not enough. I have to hate your perspective. That is absolutely unacceptable. I completely agree with Siddharth. These people don't actually have real issues which affect real people in their real lives. So you create the hype, you create this whole facade of injustice that is being meted out to a particular community,
well,
and both Hindus and Muslims do it with equanimity when it chooses.
Because the media who came to me, I'm not creating the hype.
Okay, 1 minute, Mr. Azam raised his hand.
Allow people to speak. I know you're used to Parliament, but this is a television program where interruptions may not be the most politest thing to do. So allow me to finish.
I've been called only because there is a hype about Salman Rushdie.
Sir?
No. So let me finish, Shahid. We all know you have an opinion which you keep recycling. So let me finish. So I'm saying every human being in this country is guaranteed the freedom of expression, and both Shahid and the other gentlemen are right that abuse is not fair. But that fairness, the arbiters of that justice system can't be Shahid or any other individual. It has to be the courts of law.
The state has to decide.
I mean, the gentleman is a person of Indian origin. You can't take that away from him.
That's true.
And finally, I agree with Namita. It's not about the lit fest. It is, as I began by saying, it is a sign of an intolerant, cruel society that we are creating.